And I think one of those habits, in part because I, like you, work from home. I've been working from home basically
I did
since
before the pandemic, yeah.
and even before the pandemic, I was sort of phasing into this. It feels like our lives are smaller. There's less of those chance opportunities, like you said,
Mhm.
like we're if more and more of the population is not in public as much, if there's not as many as I call them third places, not work, not home. If work and home are the same place, and there's less of those places where people go and mingle, it seems like there's simply less opportunity for the person to person relationship to be born.
Mhm. So what are you
So
gonna do?
exactly. So I think one option would be obviously contact someone like you.
Correct.
The other option would be grow some guts and get back into the world.
You have to. So you now have created a goal. So here's the thing: I want to be in a relationship. So what steps am I going to take to be in a relationship? Am I going to hire a matchmaker? Am I going to hire a coach to help me, through the way? Am I going to, tell my friends and family? Am I going to create online dating profile? What am I going to do? How am I going to take that first initial, leap? COVID, I can name you a dozen matchmakers that had the best year they ever had in 2020. My first client I
Wow.
signed during the pandemic because it really put people, that's a great thing. Love is a pandemic proof industry. It's not going anywhere. Everybody wants some form of love in their life. It's about helping you make that decision to find it and helping you choose the right individual for you.
What are your hardest clients like?
I don't take them.
You just won't take them.
I won't take them. Yep.
What's the
I like
like
people who
cutoff?
are open-minded, who have a good, healthy relationship with matchmaking, who know what they want, who have a key goal. There's some people that just I've had conversations, they're just looking for a needle in the haystack, and I've said no. I'm not the person for you. I'll help you find somebody who is.
So they're seeking a dream girl or dream guy that just doesn't exist.
It could exist. It could just be really, really hard. Sometimes we have to get a little creative, and it might just be before I agree to take them on, I might have to do some research. I might really have to look. I might have to have conversations with other matchmakers. I might not be able to find the person that they're looking for. So sometimes it's about changing their mindset, or maybe it could just be coaching, and like I'll help you get to that individual or help you figure out a way. But that's the great thing is that I'm very, when we're having that initial conversation, it's also kind of an interview. I want to make sure one of the very first questions I ask people are you coachable? Are you excited about this process? Because if you're not, it's not going to work, because I need you to trust me. I am the subject matter expert.
Who is less likely to trust you, men or women?
I mean, it's men don't think they need matchmakers because men, women, we outnumber men. Women are graduating college and are more educated and earning more money and things of that nature. And then women on top of it, we, want children, and biologically, we can only have children to a certain age. Men don't feel that they need to work with a matchmaker, um, but they're still single.
So matchmakers like yourself are overloaded with women.
Yes and no. I mean, it's definitely it's it's tougher to find some men, but I take men and women clients. Some matchmakers only work with men. Some matchmakers only work with women.
Who's harder to please, men or women?
It's about an even.
Really, even.
I had men client who filled out the survey and it was amazing. And I said, you literally said nothing wrong about this individual and you don't want to go out with her again. Why? And he couldn't answer it.
Wow.
And then I've had women that are just, I've had women that could be the height, it could be, the career, it could be all of this. I want women to get out of the mindset too. And I think we're going to see this as we're seeing with the way the economy is now with what's happening. Men are no longer going to college. Men are going into, service, blue collar things. They're becoming plumbers, electricians, all of that. But, sometimes people look down on that, and that's not a bad thing. If you're in the service industry, that's not a bad thing. You don't have school debt. You're not coming out with, hundreds of thousands of dollars of school loans. They're creating these businesses on their own. They have that flexibility to be able to travel. They're making $200,000-$300,000 in their own, business. So I like women to get, out of that mindset. There's nothing wrong with that. And look what's happening now. Look what's happening in the tech world, in the banking industry. Like people are losing their jobs. I, just remodeled a bathroom and I was on a 6-month waiting list because the contractors had, they're constantly working. So don't sleep on those. Don't sleep on the blue collar guys.
And what kind of women should men stop sleeping on?
That's a good question. I don't think it's at that point. I don't think it's the women. I think some men, yes, are intimidated that women might make more money than them, that tend to be a little bit more powerful. I just think it's you communicate and use. Don't waste people's times. If you're not interested, have those have those conversations. Thank you, but no thank you. Don't ghost. Just you'll be amazed with what could happen with a good conversation and a good communication, and how things could be avoided.
Stepping back to a moment ago, you mentioned the fella who described his date, said just rapturous, everything positive about his date, but didn't want to go out with her again.
Yep.
Did he go out with her?
Nope. I said, I need you to sleep on this. I went through, listed everything out. I said she was younger and he found her attractive, great conversation, liked her. She was currently doing her residency somewhere and would be moving back to where he was currently located. Had a great conversation. He's in his upper 30s. And I said, listen, and I had to have the conversation. I said, I need you to think about this for a second. I said, do you want to get married and have children? Correct? Yes. How long do you plan on dating? A couple of years. How long before you get married? Okay. How many years do you want to be married beforehand? And then you have kids. Like, these are the things that you need to think about. If you really want to sit down and have that, and like these, we had that conversation. And I said, I was like, this isn't Hollywood. It's not going to be, bombs aren't going to go off. It's not going to be fireworks and all of this. Chemistry builds. You have to, for prime example, I dated a guy, we went out on a date and I was like, I like him. I want to go out with him again. Second, third, fourth, fifth date. It was like, okay. I wasn't, attracted to him right away. I thought he was cute, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to see him again. And that chemistry was building over time. And then within 9 months, I'm in love with this individual. Like, we're in a happy, healthy relationship. Like, those things are going to build. And as you get to know someone more, that chemistry, how many times have you've seen a feature on someone and you're just kind of like you turn your nose up at it. But then as you get to know that individual, like the little gap in their teeth, it's cute. It's what makes them them. So I think people just tend to get out of their own way. They tend to self-sabotage. It's just a matter of, that, but again, that's why I'm here. That's why let's ask these questions. Let's have these conversations to get to better know the person and to be able to answer, like, is this somebody that I want to choose?
Should people have sex on their first date?
Do your thing. Whatever. Just use protection. If you're two consenting adults, have at it. I don't think it might not go very far, but whatever. I'm not going to yuck someone's.
Why might not it go far?
It might not. I mean, I've never successfully had anything that's happened. You can have sex on the first date. Doesn't mean, the passion, the fireworks and all of that, but some people it works, some people it doesn't. Again, I just say, be smart decisions, be healthy about it.
On the smart decision bit, that kind of connects with something that I wanted to ask you on. I feel as if as a population we're a little less prepared to date.
100%.
It seems like we're almost more, some of the conversations I've had with women and with men, there's an idealism, and which kind of fits in that 6 foot tall situation and in the money situation that you mentioned earlier, and even the plumber and service industry thing you mentioned not long ago. I wonder if you've seen this in your work. Are you working through someone's idealism, trying to get around it?
Yeah, I think, and that's what kind of happens when we're dating somebody. We kind of build this individual up, and it's this idea that this is what's going to happen. And that's what gets us caught up in something. And, I see folks do this at, third or fourth date. What are we doing? Well, you're dating, go have a good time. Like, we're not, don't build this individual up. And when we do that, and this is also one of the reasons why I say don't date multiple people at the same time, because we've kind of built this idea on there's expectations of what we think is going to happen. And when people don't adhere to that expectation, now we've been wronged, and, it's doomed. But when you're dating multiple people, you kind of get to compare the two of them. You're not putting your eggs all in one basket. It's an opportunity for you, like, when you're going shoe shopping or you're going through and having, this is how I say it for dating. It's kind of like, if, many stores have a return policy of, 30, 60, 90 days. I can buy a dress and I can come home and I can try it on a few times, and I can try it on with the jewelry, and I can try it on with the clothes. And then I have an opportunity to return it. So that's kind of how I view dating. I don't like to talk relationship status 90 to 120 days, until I think that person is worthy, that I'm ready to have a relationship with them, because I'm still getting to know them. You're not having date 2 or 3. You're not having conversations about, finances and politics and religion and things of that nature. You don't understand, how are they in conflict? If you had a fight with this individual, do they fight fair? Or are they nasty and name calling, gaslighting? Like, I find people can't really fake who they are after the 60, 90 day mark. You're really finding out who that individual is.